Again, after lunch, anyhow, I have my theory class 2 to 3. In that class, I will do that simulation and you should do the experiment. Next week, calculation part, how to plot the graph, that one period we can complete. Because in the afternoon session, instead of taking these two big derivations, probably this morning session, I'll complete those two derivations. So you keep ready with your books and pen. You should have to do the derivations and you should copy the derivation part, because these three derivations are very, very important. And 1 hour, 45 to 50 minutes, I'll complete these two. You can have to copy this. Then I'll start the experiment. What experiment we have to do today? We'll start that experiment. Then we'll go further. And so as I said discussed in the last class, the disorders which are present in crystals, they are called as crystal imperfections, and they are categorized into 4 different ways: 0-dimensional, 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. And 0-dimensional defects are point defects. In that you have vacancies, interstitials, then compositional defects, and fourth one electronic defects. And ionic vacancies will be there in metals and ionic crystals. In the last class, we have derived the vacancies in metals, which are called as Schottky defects, by taking the loss of probability and thermodynamics, Stirling's approximation, Helmholtz free, Gibbs free energy. By taking this, we have derived the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in metals. Now we have to calculate the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. So for that, derivation part is there. Is this screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
So now the same in the last class we have derived the Schottky defects present in metals, and now we should calculate the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. Ionic crystals means it has both a cation and anion, a positive ion and a negative ion, and the vacancies. So a vacancy created by a pair of oppositely charged ions in a crystal lattice represent Schottky defect in an ionic crystal. In the previous case, it's only an atom. From a metal, it is missing from the inside of the lattice and it is present on the surface of the crystal, which is called Schottky defect in metal. Now the same will be happened for ionic crystals also. A pair of cation and anion will be missing from the regular position and they are present at the surface of the crystal. These are called as Schottky defects in ionic crystals. So it is creation of vacancy of a pair of oppositely charged ions, positive ion and negative ion, cation or anion, represents the Schottky defects in ionic crystals. So now you have to calculate the number of Schottky defects present per unit volume at a given temperature is called as equilibrium concentration. And also one thing to be assumed here, to maintain electrical neutrality, because simply a positive ion can be moving from the inside and present at the outside, it unbalances the electrical neutrality of the given ionic crystal. So it is assumed that to maintain electrical neutrality, a pair of anion and cation will be missing from lattice inside and moving to the surfaces. With some energy, a cation and anion, they are missing from the lattice and they are at the surface of the crystal as shown in the figure. You see here in this diagram a cation and an anion. Small size one, this pink color one is a positive ion, violet one is a negative ion, and these two are, there are two vacancies. Here a negative ion is missing, here a positive ion is missing, and these two are moving from lattice inside to the surface of the crystal. So this creates a certain disorder in the ionic crystal, and these disorders, vacancies, these are called as Schottky defects. So at 0 Kelvin, all crystallization and the position orientation of either ions or atoms, they're exactly perfect. As the temperature changes, the ions which are there in the crystal lattice, they absorb some energy some disorder takes place, the entropy will be increasing and they move from the regular position to the surface of the crystal. In this way, a vacancy is created. It's not only one side. It is assumed that a pair of cation and anion will be missing from the lattice inside and they are moving to the surface. And these vacancies created by positive charge and a negative charge or a pair of ions is called as a Schottky effect in ionic crystals. So how many vacancies, ionic vacancies per unit volume at a given temperature? This is called as equilibrium concentration. This we are going to calculate by using laws of probability and thermodynamic approach. And take the heading, all of you, Schottky defects in ionic crystals, and you take the diagram also. Is this visible now clearly, students? One of you respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You take the diagram.
No, sir.
Yes, you copy the diagram. I'll wait. And if you want, you write that points also. Shall I proceed?
1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Now we have to calculate the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects. For that, I am proceeding. Let us consider, let capital N be the total number of ionic pairs present per unit volume in the given crystal lattice. So in this, let us consider an ionic crystal. In this crystal, capital N be is the number of ionic pairs or number of lattice sites for both cation and anion, you can say, per unit volume in the given crystal. And there are N be the number of ion pair vacancies created in the crystal at temperature T. So small n is the number of ionic vacancies created at a temperature T. And EP is the energy required to move an ionic pair from the lattice side inside to the lattice site on the surface. So as I said, it's not easy to move only one ion, either cation or anion. So to maintain electrical neutrality, it is assumed that a pair of cation and anion will be missing from the lattice inside and move to the surface of the crystal. For that, it needs certain energy. Let EP is the energy required to move the pair of ions from lattice inside to the surface of the lattice. And let us assume the number of possible ways from the laws of probability. The number of ways n positive ion vacancies can be created in the lattice is NCN ways, which is among n ionic pairs. The probability is given by factorial n by n minus n factorial into n factorial. In a similar fashion, the number of possible ways to create n negative ion vacancies in the lattice is the same. So it can be P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So in the same fashion, what we have discussed in the first derivation, the same capital N is the number of ionic pairs present per unit volume at any temperature T. And at that temperature, let N be the number of ion pair vacancies created. EP is the energy associated to move an ionic pair from lattice inside to the surface of the crystal lattice. So the number of possible ways n positive ion vacancies can be created is n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Also, the number of possible ways the negative ion vacancies can be arranged is represented by n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Please you take write these two. Take the screenshot. The description n is the total number of ionic pairs. Small n be the number of ion pair vacancies. EP is the energy required to move a pair of ion from lattice inside to the surface of the lattice. These 3 points you should write. Now you write the probability equations for both the positive ion vacancies and negative ion vacancies. Please take this. Is this clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Please note on this. Now, the total number of possible ways to create n number of ion pair vacancies in the lattice is the product of these two, because possibility of creating n positive ion vacancies and negative ion vacancies. So the total probability is represented by P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, and the creation of negative ions n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. The same can be written as P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. So this is the probability, the total number of possible ways to create n number of ion pair vacancies in the crystal lattice.
Sir, please show before slide, sir, at once.
One second, okay. But you didn't copy it. 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay, sir, completed.
Okay. Is it visible? Yeah. Take these two steps. The total number of ways n vacancies, ion pair vacancies can be created is P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. So whenever there is some disorderness in the crystal, is expressed in terms of entropy in thermodynamics. So entropy will be increasing. So the entropy is represented by S is equal to Kb log P. So actually entropy is proportional to the number of possible ways. So it can be written represented as S is equal to Kb log P, where Kb is Boltzmann constant, P is the number of ways. So substitute for P, the entropy can be written as S is equal to Kb log P is n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. This is the expression for entropy. Take this expression also. Entire procedure is same as what we did in the case of metals. Only the number of ways will be changing. The entire procedure is same. Please note down. Some students are not copying, it seems. I got doubt. But once I ask,
Over, sir.
Over, then
Over,
I
sir.
It's taking some time to share this data. Is this visible to you?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Wait for some time, because here it is stuck. The data, it will come. Yeah. Now, similarly, according to Gibbs free energy in thermodynamics, it is given by F is equal to U minus Ts, where U is the internal energy, T is absolute temperature, S is increase in entropy. So the same can be written as F is equal to U minus T is same, and S can be written as Kb log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. This is the expression for P. So the Gibbs free energy can be expressed as F is equal to U minus KBT log P can be written as n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. So we are substituting for S in Gibbs free energy. Please note this one. U is the internal energy, T is absolute temperature, and S is the entropy. For S, you can substitute Kb log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. Now, as I said, EP is the energy required to move ion pair from the lattice inside to the surface. So EP is the energy to move one pair. Like that, there are n ion pair vacancies are there. So the total energy associated for the creation of n ionic vacancies is nothing but the internal energy given by U is equal to n into EP, because EP is the energy associated for the creation of one ionic vacancy. Like that, there are n vacancies are there, ionic vacancies are there. So the internal energy is represented by U is equal to NEP. So in the above equation, instead of UP, U, you have to substitute this NEP. Now the Gibbs free energy will become F is equal to, actually it is U kBT log P, we have substituted here. That is nothing but NEP minus kBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. And the same can be this log x square can be written as 2 log x. So you can bring these two here. So final expression becomes F is equal to NEP minus 2 kBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This is the expression for Gibbs free energy. Please copy this. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Girls?
sir.
Girls? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is Gibbs free energy. Now you wait, it will display. It is taking 30 to 60 seconds. You can try here. Meanwhile, so you should apply Stirling's approximation. If x is large, log x factorial can be written as x log x minus x. So you should take only this log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial, that you expand. So using Stirling's approximation, log n factorial can be written as log n minus n. Again, log n minus n factorial, that can be written as minus of n minus n factorial log n minus n log n minus n minus of n minus n. Then you have n factorial in the denominator. So when it goes to the numerator, it is minus log n factorial. So this is minus of n log n minus n. Yeah. So using Stirling's approximation, log x factorial is x log x minus x. So we have to first simplify this last term, log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. So using this approximation, it can be written as first log n factorial. The same left hand side can be written as log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log small n factorial. Now you should apply Stirling's approximation. So it can be n log n minus n in the first term, then minus of n minus n log n minus n, minus into minus becomes plus, so this is plus n minus n. Then there you have minus n log n factorial, that is minus n log n plus n. I took 1-2 steps directly because we can understand this easily. And cancelling the positive and negative terms, finally we left with n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Therefore, the Gibbs free energy can be finally expressed as F is equal to NEP minus 2 kBT. This log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial can be written as n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. This is the final expression for Gibbs free energy. F is equal to. The entire procedure is same. What we have taken for metallic Schottky effects, the same is here. Only number of ways will be changing. Please note this one. Again, when thermal equilibrium is achieved, that means at constant temperature, the free energy is also constant and minimum with respect to small n. Then df by dn at constant t is equal to 0. The differentiation of f with respect to small n at constant temperature is 0. So df by dn at constant t is equal to 0. Now we should take the differentiation of the above expression. Did you copy this one?
Yes, sir.
Boys and girls, shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You try this differentiation.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. You try, meanwhile, it takes some time to display. Yeah. Now df by dn at constant t, the first term is n into ep. The differentiation of that is ep only. Minus 2 kBt is constant. And the differentiation of capital N with respect to small n is 0. So the first one is 0, first term is 0. Then you have minus of n minus n log n minus n. So it should be minus of n minus n into n by log difference UV formula and log formula. N minus n by n minus n. The differentiation of minus n is minus 1. So it is the first term. And the second term, it is n by n minus n by n into the differentiation of the second term. It will become log n minus n. Here you will be getting 1 minus 1 extra. In the third term, you will be getting plus 1 extra. So these two cancelled. I took directly. So this is minus n by n into log n is equal to 0. You can elaborate, you can do this derivation also. I think I need not explain this differentiation, isn't it? Then again EP minus 2 kBt into, here it is minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled, log n minus n minus log n is equal to 0. Further it is, you bring the second term to the right hand side because df by dn at constant t is equal to 0. So it can be equated to 0. So you bring the second term to the right side, then it is EP is equal to 2 kBt log n minus n minus log n. Further it is EP is equal to 2 kBt log n minus n minus log n can be written as log of n minus n by n. Again, you bring 2 kBt to the left hand side. It can be further written as EP by 2 kBt is equal to log of n minus n by n. So you remove log, so it is n minus n by n is equal to e power EP by 2 kBt. Then you reverse that one. Small n by n minus n is equal to, here it will become negative. So e power minus EP by 2 kBt. And bring this n minus n to the right hand side. Small n is equal to n minus n into e power minus ep by 2 kBt. But once you compare capital N and small n, number of ionic vacancies are very large if you compare with ion pair vacancies. So small n can be neglected. Therefore, n minus n can be approximately written as capital N only. Therefore, n is equal to capital N into e power minus ep by 2 kBt. This represents the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in an ionic crystal. Small n is equal to capital N into e power minus ep by 2 kBt is the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. Only the change you have got is 2 factor, I think. In the previous case, it is ep by kBt, Schottky defects in metals. Here it is minus ep by 2 kBt. Please copy this. Did you copy, students?
Yes, sir.
Boys?
Yes, sir.
So this we have derived in this expression. In this, you should calculate the concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. So in this ionic crystal, a pair of ions will be missing in the lattice inside, and they are moving to the surface, so that they create certain disorderness or vacancy. These ionic vacancies are called Schottky defects. Because to maintain electrical neutrality, it is assumed that a pair of positive and negative ions will be missing in the inside the lattice, and they are moving to the surface of the lattice. At 0 Kelvin, it is crystal in all respects, perfect in all respects. But as the temperature rises, due to thermal energy, some energy is absorbed by some of the ions, so that they can move to the surface. So how many ions will be moving, how many ionic vacancies are created per unit volume at a given temperature is equilibrium concentration, which are called as Schottky defects. We should derive this equilibrium concentration. For that, let us assume that n is the total number of ionic pair vacancies, n be the number of total n be the number of ionic lattice sites or ionic pairs. Small n is the number of ion pair vacancies at any temperature T. Ep is the energy required to move one pair of ion from inside of the lattice to the surface. So the possible ways of creating positive ion vacancy is represented by n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Similarly, negative ions also the same expression. So the total probability that these ions can be arranged is the product of these two, and you can arrive P is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. So whenever there is some disorder, entropy is there. So the increase in entropy is represented by, according to Boltzmann's law, S is equal to Kb log P, where Kb is Boltzmann constant, P is the number of waves. So the entropy can be again expressed as Kb log P can be replaced by this one, n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. Now you can write the expression for Gibbs free energy. It's taking time today. Yeah, Gibbs free energy is F is equal to U minus Ts, where U is the internal energy, the energy required to move n pair of n pair of ions from inside of the lattice to the surface. T is absolute temperature, S is the entropy. So it can be written as U minus S can be replaced by KB log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. Now, as I said, the internal energy is expressed as N into EP, where N is the number of ion pair vacancies, EP is the energy associated. So if you substitute, it can be NEP minus KBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial whole square. And 2 can be taken here. Again, it can be simplified as NEP minus 2 KBT log of n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. Now, using Stirling's approximation, first you should simplify this. So this can be written as log of n factorial log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log n factorial. Still it is not coming, wait. Yeah, using Stirling's approximation, it can be written as log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus log n factorial. It can be again simplified as n log n minus n minus of n minus n log n minus n plus n minus n, then minus of n log n plus n. By rearranging, by cancelling minus n plus n here and also minus small n plus small n, you will be finally getting n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. Substituting this in Gibbs free energy, it can be written as NEP minus 2 KBT, and instead of this log n factorial by something, this you should write n log n minus of n minus n log n minus n minus n log n. And at equilibrium, the free energy is constant and a minimum with respect to n. So the dF by dN, the differentiation of Gibbs free energy with respect to small n at constant temperature T is equal to 0. Now you take the differentiation of this one. So the first term, it is NEP, the differentiation of this is EP. Then it is minus 2 KBT is common. The differentiation of capital N log n is equal to 0 only. Then you have to take the differentiation of this one. Minus of, if you take the differentiation, this is n minus n into differentiation of log n minus n is 1 by n minus n into the differentiation of minus n is minus 1. This is first term. Keeping the this one log n minus n constant, sorry, n minus n constant, you should differentiate the second term. No, you keeping the log n minus n constant, you should differentiate the first term. That is log n minus n into the differentiation of this is minus 1 only. In this way, you should do. Similarly, for minus n log n, then wait for some time. Today the data is not sharing properly. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
Okay. Now it is. So
Yes, sir.
by differentiating this, as I said, finally you get EP minus 2 KBT log of n minus n minus log n is equal to 0. You bring the second term to the right hand side. It is EP is equal to 2 KBT log n minus n minus log n, and log n minus n minus log n can be written as log of n minus n by n, that we did here. Then you bring 2 KBT here. EP by 2 KBT is equal to log n minus n by n, and n minus n by n is equal to e power EP by 2 KBT. You reverse this one, you will be getting a negative sign in the right hand side. N by n minus n is equal to e power minus EP by 2 KBT, and you bring n minus n to the right hand side. Small n is equal to n minus n into e power minus EP by 2 KBT. And if you compare n and small n is much less than capital N. So n small n can be neglected. So finally you get n is equal to capital N into e power minus EP by 2 KBT, which represents the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. This derivation you should derive an expression for the equilibrium concentration of Schottky defects in ionic crystals. You should do this derivation. Otherwise, derive an expression for the concentration of Schottky defects in metals. The first derivation you have to do. Now we should proceed for the next one, which is Frenkel defects. Take the heading Frenkel's defect. Frenkel defects. So in the point defects, the second category is interstitials. That means an atom in its regular position is missing and it is occupying a void space or between two atomic regions or a regular atomic site. Irregular atomic site is called as interstitial. If an ionic pair is missing from its regular position and present somewhere else, then it is called as a Frenkel defect. So in ionic crystal, an ion may be displaced from the regular lattice into the interstitial site or void space. So here there is no question of creating the unbalancing the electrical neutrality. So you can assume that a cation or an anion will be missing because in the same surface it is not moving to the surface of the crystal. Within its lattice plane only, a cation or an anion, it is missing from its regular lattice point and it is present in the interstitial site. You see in the diagram. In this diagram, actually this is the regular position and the sodium plus ion. It is missing here and this is present in between two regions. It is occupying a irregular site, creating certain disorderness, and these are called as Frenkel defects. Here, there is overall electrical neutrality will be maintained because it is not leaving the lattice plane. It is not moving to the surface. So any either cation or anion will be leaving its regular site and going to an irregular position or in a void space is creating certain disorderness, and these ionic interstitials these are called as Frenkel defects. Now you have to calculate the equilibrium concentration of Frenkel defect. Please note down this, take this diagram. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And a pair of, it's not a pair of ion, only simply the sodium ion. It is moving from its regular position to a void space. Because it is happening in an ionic crystal, it can be called as a Frenkel defect. At 0 Kelvin, this arrangement is perfect, but as the temperature rises at any temperature T, some possibility is that some of the ions, they get thermal energy, they can move from their regular positions to some void spaces, irregular lattice sites. It creates a certain vacancy, and this is called as interstitial defect. And ionic interstitials are called Frenkel defects. Now you should calculate or derive an expression for the equilibrium concentration of Frenkel defects in ionic crystals. Please note down. Shall I proceed? Did you copy it?
Yes, sir.
Girls?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this, there is a logic. Here you have to take the number of ways of arranging, because here what is happening is a vacancy is creating and interstitial is also creating. That means a cation or anion, it is creating a vacancy. So how many number of vacancies are created? So possible ways of creating the vacancy is one function, and they are occupying the void space is another one. So two probability equations. First you should obtain, then you should write the total number of ways of arranging creation of vacancies and occupying irregular sites. Then using statistical approach and thermodynamics, you can calculate the equilibrium concentration of n Frenkel defects. This we have to do in this expression. So as I said, capital N is, it's not atoms, small typo error. Capital N is the number of ions present per unit volume in a given crystal. And small n is the number of defects, the Frenkel defects. And as I said, small n is the number of vacancies created in the crystal lattice at a temperature, and Ni be the number of interstitial positions. And in the Ni be the number of interstitial atoms occupying these interstitial positions. That means some vacancies are created, some interstitial positions are occupied. So it can be taken separately. And Ei is the energy required to move an ion from its regular position to the interstitial site. So for one ion, it is represented by Ei. For n ions, it is n into Ei. So in this way, you should take this problem. So here it is a combination of two things. One is the creation of a vacancy and occupying an interstitial position. So with that energy, a sodium ion is moving from its regular position, and it is occupying an interstitial position. So here a vacancy is created and a regular site is occupied. Two disorders are present simultaneously in a given ionic crystal: creation of a vacancy and occupying an interstitial position. So to calculate that, you should consider these two things. So N, capital N is the total number of ions per unit volume, and small n is the number of vacancies created at any temperature T, because that means by thermal energy, these n number of vacancies are created. Nm ions, they vacate the position, and Ni is the number of interstitial positions. So among these n, there are actually Ni interstitial irregular sites are present among Ni number of interstitial ions occupying these interstitial positions. And Ei is the energy required to move an ion from inside the crystal to interstitial position. Is this clear, this concept? It is little bit tricky. Yes, anyone?
Yes, sir.
Because here the creation of a vacancy and occupying an interstitial site, both are two disorders. You should address both. So first we are writing the first probability equation. The number of possible ways to create n vacancies in the lattice is given by P1 is equal, let us name it as P1. P1 is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. NCN ways, what we have discussed, this is same. Similarly, the number of possible ways to occupy Ni interstitial positions by n atoms in the lattice. It is represented by Ni factorial by Ni factorial minus n into n factorial. So first one is creation of a way. The number of ways n vacancies are created. Similarly, the number of ways Ni interstitial positions can be occupied by n atoms. P1 and P2. Please note these two. P1 is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. P2 is equal to Ni factorial by Ni minus n factorial into n factorial. Now the total probability is the product of these two. So the total number of ways of creating n Frenkel defects, small n Frenkel defects is, it is P1 into P2. That is n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial into Ni factorial by Ni minus n factorial into n factorial. This is the expression for P. Shall I proceed further? Did you copy these two?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You try this one. It takes some time to display. Meanwhile, you try this one. You write P is equal to P1 into P2. And n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. The Ni factorial by Ni minus n factorial into n factorial. Then entropy, S is equal to Kb log P. Then Gibbs free energy, F is equal to U minus Ts. Everything is same. Just you try. I'll give 5 minutes. Just you go through the slide, and you, as it is, there is no change. For the third one, you have to do. That's why I'm not explaining. You write entropy S is equal to KB log P. That is KB log P in terms of in fact number of ways of arranging these two. It can be written as n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial into ni factorial by ni minus n factorial into n factorial. Then write Gibbs free energy F is equal to U minus Tx, where U is the internal energy. Did you cooperate this up to this?
Sir, 5 minutes, sir.
One
Okay.
one
I'll give
One
time.
minute, sir.
I'll give time. Don't worry. Is it okay? Shall I proceed?
Yeah.
Students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now F is equal to U minus KBT log n factorial by S are the same. And U can be replaced with N into EI. As I said, yes, the EI is the energy required to move one ion or atom from lattice inside to the crystal. So the total energy required to create n isolated vacancies in the crystal can be represented by the internal energy, which is given by U is equal to NEI. Now, it can be, U can be replaced with the NEI. So finally Gibbs free energy F is equal to NEI minus KBT log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial into Ni factorial by Ni minus n factorial into n factorial. Now we should use Stirling's approximation. So log, first you should simplify the log term. So log of this one can be written as, using Stirling's approximation, straight away I wrote here n log n minus Ni log Ni, and you will verify. You actually should take two terms separately, minus n log n minus n minus Ni minus n log Ni minus n minus 2n log n. Straight away I gave this, but you have to simplify. So it can be written as actually log n factorial by log n minus n factorial minus log n factorial plus log Ni factorial minus log Ni minus n factorial minus log n factorial. So in total it becomes minus 2n log n factorial. Now you should use Stirling's approximation, n log n minus n, then minus of n minus n log n minus n, minus of n log n minus n, plus Ni log Ni minus Ni, minus Ni minus n log Ni minus n, minus of Ni minus n, minus n log n minus n. So all positive and negative terms will be cancelled, and finally you will be getting the last expression, n log n minus Ni log Ni. You try this one. Everything typing on the presentation is a little bit difficult, but you should understand this. So this step I took straight away. This you to be very clear, and you try this and you should get this one. Please copy this at this juncture. Did you copy, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So further it can be written as F is equal to NEI minus KBT n log n minus Ni log Ni minus n minus n log n minus n minus Ni minus n log Ni minus n minus 2n log. This is what we have taken. And similar, the everything is same. At equilibrium, free energy is constant and minimum with respect to small n. That is dF by dN at constant T is equal to 0. And therefore, same by differentiation, by taking the differentiation, similarly, what I have explained in the first derivation and second derivation, finally, we can get EI is equal to KBT log n minus n into n minus n by n square. This you should get. And if you compare capital N, small n is negligible. Number of vacancies, number of lattice points or ionic sites, and number of interstitial positions are very much higher comparing to the number of Frenkel defects. So small n can be neglected, and you can neglect the small n. It can be written as EI is equal to KBT log NNI by n square. This derivation part, you have to simplify this. df by dnet constant T also. I'm not explaining that because you have to take at least one derivation. You have to take the differentiation, Stirling's approximation. I assume it's a practice for you because all the three are same. If you know the number of ways of arranging these defects, the procedure is the same. So this mathematical part, you should be very careful and you should have to practice this. In the exam, don't write these direct steps. Just you copy this. Will you do this differentiation, anyone? First, I will give the final expression. Then you try this one. So from the previous one, it is EI is equal to KBT log NNI by n square. You can bring the KBT to the left hand side. Then it becomes EI by KBT is equal to log NNI by n square, or NNI by n square is equal to, here you will be getting exponential term e power EI by KBT. Reverse this one, n square by NNI is equal to e power minus EI by KBT. Here you get a negative sign, or n square is equal to NNI can go to the right hand side, NNI into e power minus EI by KBT. Finally, n is equal to NNI whole to the power of half e power minus EI by 2 term you will be getting in the denominator 2 KBT, which represents the equilibrium concentration of n Frenkel defects. Please note this one. Shall I explain this once again? Will you try?
Once again.
Once again. Did you copy this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I go to the first slide in Frenkel defects?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the other category is Frenkel defects. As I said, point defects are classified into 4 categories. The first one, point defects, vacancies. Second one, interstitials. Third one, compositional defects, and the fourth one, electronic defects. And the second category, interstitials. So the ionic interstitials are called as Frenkel defects. So in an ionic crystal, let us take the sodium chloride. So one ion will be missing from its regular position, and it is occupying an irregular position or void space within the same lattice plane. So this type of disorder, it is called as a Frenkel defect. In the diagram, you can see here actually a sodium atom should be there, but here it is missing. That means a vacancy is created here, and this sodium atom is occupying in an irregular site. So this ionic defect, this is called as Frenkel defect, creation of interstitial. So here it is a combination of 2 disorders. One is the creation of vacancy, and the second one occupying an interstitial position. So separately, we should write the number of ways of creating n vacancies and also occupying ni interstitial atoms. So these 2 probabilities, when they have combined or clubbed, will get the equilibrium concentration of n Frenkel defects. This actually we have to derive. So as I said, at 0 Kelvin, this arrangement is perfect. All ions are at their regular sites only, and you can assume it is a perfect crystal. But at a temperature other than 0 Kelvin, at higher temperature, because of the thermal vibrations and the thermal energy supplied to the given ionic crystal, there is a finite probability that some of the ions, they can leave their regular sites and they occupy their irregular positions within the same lattice plane. It is not the case like Schottky defects in ionic crystals, because a pair of ions will be moving from inside to the surface. But here, to maintain the electrical neutrality, but here it is not the case. Here electrical neutrality will not be disturbed because it is occupying an irregular site within the lattice plane only. So now you should derive an expression for the equilibrium concentration of Frenkel defects. For that, let n is the total number of ions or atoms present per unit volume, and small n is the number of vacancies created at any temperature. Ni is the number of interstitial positions, and Ei is the energy required to move an atom from the lattice regular position to the interstitial site. Now, the number of possible ways, small n vacancies created in the lattice, is NCN ways, which is given by P1 is equal to n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial. This is the probability number of possible ways to create. Probability is directly proportional to number of ways with a proportionality constant. So we are neglecting the proportionality constant. That you should understand here. This is the expression for the number of ways to create n vacancies. Similarly, the number of ways to occupy ni interstitial positions by n atoms or ions is represented by P2, given by ni factorial by ni minus n factorial into n factorial. So the total number of ways n vacancies can be created and ni interstitial positions can be occupied is represented by P is equal to P1, P2. Should combine these two. That is nothing but n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial into ni factorial by ni minus n factorial into n factorial. Because of the disorderness, as I said, entropy is there, and increase in entropy due to vacancies given by S is equal to Kb log P. So for P, you should substitute P1 into P2, that is the expression n factorial by what explained, that you substitute instead of P. So S is equal to Kb log P, that is Kb log P is replaced by the above expression. From Gibbs free energy function, we have F is equal to U minus Ts, where U is the internal energy, T is the absolute temperature, and S is the entropy. So for S, you should substitute the above expression. So it becomes U minus Kb log T. The probability function P can be written like this: Kb log Kbt log of this one. This is the expression for Gibbs free energy. Now, Ei is the energy required to move an ion from lattice inside to the interstitial site. So the total energy is associated to create n Frenkel defects, it is n into EI. So this, which is nothing but the internal energy, the same we are representing here. U is equal to NEI. That we are substituting in the above expression. Instead of U, you substitute NEI. So NEI KBT log of this n factorial everything. Finally, you can obtain for Gibbs free energy. Now you should simplify this log term, log n factorial by n minus n factorial into n factorial into ni factorial by ni minus n factorial into n factorial. This you should write log of x by y is log x minus log y. In the same fashion, first you should simplify this one, log n factorial minus log n minus n factorial minus n log factorial minus log n factorial plus log ni factorial minus log ni minus n factorial minus log n factorial. I didn't represent this here, you should write actually. Now you should use Stirling's approximation. Log n factorial is n log n minus n. Apply to all and you should simplify. Plus n minus n, they can be gets cancelled, and using Stirling's approximation, this can be written as F is equal to NEI, KBT is common, then it should be, further by simplification, finally you can obtain n log n minus ni log ni minus n minus n log n minus n minus ni minus n log ni minus n minus 2n log n. This you have to derive and you should practice this. If you have any doubts, you should ask me. Then at thermal equilibrium, the free energy is constant and a minimum with respect to n, that is df by dn at constant t is equal to 0. Now you should take the differentiation of the above expression. So the differentiation of above expression, NEI is only E, then KBT is common. The differentiation of small n with respect to capital N is 0. So you can put 0. And similarly, the differentiation of ni log ni is also 0. So you'll be getting 0 minus 0 minus, from this term you have to take the differentiation. So first you should keep the first term constant, n minus n constant, and take the differentiation of log n minus n, which is 1 by n minus n into minus 1. Plus now you have to keep log n minus n into as a constant, and differentiation of n minus n is minus 1. Like that UV method, you have to take the differentiation of the first term. Similarly for the second term, and similarly for the third term. And at equilibrium, once you simplify this, you will be getting log of n minus n into n minus n by n square. And at equilibrium, df by dn at constant t is equal to 0. And also you should do these take the approximations. If compare capital N and small n can be neglected. So in both cases, in the numerator, you neglect n and n here. So finally, you will be getting EI is equal to KBT log n into ni by n square. So further, if you bring this term to the left hand side, EI by KBT is equal to log nni by n square, and remove the log, it is nni by n square is equal to e power EI by KBT. Reverse this one, it becomes e to the power of minus EI by KBT. Then n square is equal to bring nni to the right hand side, nni e power minus EI by 2 KBT, sorry. Finally, n is equal to nni whole to the power of half e to the power of minus EI by 2 KBT. So this expression represents the equilibrium concentration of n Frenkel defects in ionic crystals. So you have to, on the paper today, after this class, you try these two derivations. Ionic Schottky defects in ionic crystals and Frenkel defects in ionic crystals. And in the next class, I'll explain line defects, edge dislocations, and screw dislocations, and Burgers vector also. And this time, can you try these two, students? Derivations, Schottky defects in ionic crystals, Frenkel defects.
Yes, sir.
These two, you have to practice these derivations today itself. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So 10 minutes only, 10 to 15 minutes. I'll explain what experiment we have to do today, and from 2 to 3 we have to do the simulation part of that particular experiment. So in this sense, all the 3 big derivations we have completed in our session. Can I take for 10 minutes and I'll leave you, and again we'll join at 2 o'clock for the lab experiment. VA characteristics within 1 hour I can explain, so that you have to do the experiment. When you are coming to the next class, we'll do the graph part, calculation part, everything. So that we will do in this class. I'll be 10 minutes. I'll explain what actually you have to do in this experiment. So the experiment is VA characteristics of PN junction diode. Please note down. VA characteristics of PN junction diode. VA characteristics of PN junction diode. So in this experiment, you have to draw the characteristic curves for a PN junction diode, voltage versus current characteristics of a PN junction diode, both in forward bias and reverse bias. So as a simulation program only, we'll be doing this experiment. For that, again, you have to, in the Google, I'll share the screen, then it will be convenient for you. 1 minute. Is this visible? Google. Students?
Yes, sir.
So in this, first you type
Yes, sir. Yes,
virtual labs. You click virtual labs. You'll be getting this one. Then you go to this www.vlab.co.in. This you should click. Like first experiment, energy gap. In this time, instead of going for physical sciences, you browse this one, electronics and communications, because these experiments are there in this category, ECE. So you have to click electronics and communications. Here number of experiments are there, and in this, here you have one more developed by IIT Kharagpur, which is basic electronics lab. This you should click. In this, many basic fundamental electronics experiments are there. And here, once again, once you get this one, you should click list of experiments. Number of experiments are there. Familiarization with resistor. If you want to, because in the intermediate you don't have the basic experiments. So what actually resistor, how it works, you can do this experiment. Similarly, capacitor, inductor, because many students, you face problem while what actually resistor, but sometimes you could not able to express. Similarly, the inductor. So once you perform these experiments, you try. This is self-learning, because these are not in the curriculum. You have to practice yourself. So Ohm's law also you can 1, 2, 3, 4. These are fundamental aspects of experiments. Actually, these should be completed in your intermediate. If you have time, you go through this one. But our experiment is VA characteristics of a junction diode. So now the 5th experiment, but according to you, it is the 2nd experiment. Here in the list, it is 5th experiment. You click this VA characteristics of a diode. So in this, we'll be getting a brief notes. The objectives of this experiment, what we are doing here. Initially, we should be able to learn the structure of a PN junction diode. So what are semiconducting materials, basing on the energy gap values, conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. We have discussed in the energy gap experiment. So what are semiconducting materials? And in this, you have intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. And what are p-type materials? What are n-type materials? And what is a p-n junction diode? So this is the basic. Explain the structure of a p-n junction diode, and how explain the function of a p-n junction diode, what actually the structure and how it works. A p-n junction works, that is the function of p-n junction diode, and what is the forward bias arrangement and what is reverse bias arrangement. What happens in forward bias and the reverse bias. Now, how see for a silicon diode, how you draw the VI characteristics both in forward bias and reverse bias. Similarly, you take another diode, germanium diode, and you should draw the forward and reverse bias characteristics of a germanium diode. These 4 points, this is the objective of your experiment, to understand the structure of a p-n junction diode, and also to understand the function of a p-n junction diode, and explain how a diode, the silicon diode, will go in forward bias and reverse bias. How can you draw VI characteristics, that is forward and reverse bias characteristics of a silicon diode. Similarly, forward and reverse bias characteristics of a germanium diode. And then no need to take 2 diodes in our today's experiment. So before coming to the lab, what actually you have to do is structure. Theory is given here. So what actually is structure of p-n junction diode, I will explain in brief, but in detail you will be reading in the theory. So the brush up yourself. What are semiconducting materials, p-type materials, n-type materials, what are the characteristics, everything. Just no need to copy each and every one. Just you read the fundamental aspects of a p-n junction diode when you are coming to 2 o'clock class. Then I will explain in brief and how to connect the circuit and how to take the readings for sample p-n diode. I will explain, and you have to take 1 or 2 diodes which are there in the simulation program itself, and you have to take the readings, voltage versus current readings. Then you have to plot a graph, and you can calculate the resistance, forward bias resistance and reverse bias resistance. This actually we should do in our experiment. So once again I'll explain. First you should go to this Google. You should browse this virtual labs. In the virtual labs also you should go electronics and communication. Here you should click basic electronics. Again you have to click the list of experiments. In that you have number of experiments are there. 5th one is VI characteristics of p-n junction diode. That you should click. Then theory, little bit theory about VI what you are going to calculate, and VI characteristics of a diode. Some theory is there. Just you go through the theory after having your lunch. 2 o'clock once I'll start this one. I will explain the fundamental aspects, very relative to the experiment only. What is p-type, n-type, and what is p-n junction diode? What is forward bias arrangement and reverse bias arrangement? That theory part I will explain in brief, and we'll focus more mainly on the simulation part, how to connect the circuit and how you can take the readings. That I'll explain, and you try this, and you should take the readings in the next class. Like the previous experiment, you have to plot the graph and taking the calculations, plotting the graph. Finally, you can calculate the resistance in the forward bias and reverse bias. This you have to do in the today's experiment. Is it clear? Shall you do
Yes,
this
sir.
one? Okay. I'll take the attendance for this session, because one more topic is there, but I think at this juncture I can't receive. 2 to 3 o'clock I'll perform the experiment, and you have to take the readings. Respond for the attendance roll. Somebody left and joining while taking attendance. Who is that? I don't know. Roll number 61.